Neymar is a joke, an absolute joke. I made a similar video a year ago. My opinions on that man have not changed. Not only does this fella hit the deck more often than a panda on roller skates, he seemingly has all the loyalty of an underage Irish international. This man earns £38 million a year and can't even be bothered to show up for work. This man earns over £3,000 every goddamn hour. Once you finish this video, Neymar is going to be £700 richer. That is absolutely disgusting. He makes over £1 a second. When I'm stuck for a couple of quid to pay bills or food, I would probably just have to rifle through the neighbour's bin bags for a bit of spare change. This man makes 70 quid sitting on the goddamn toilet, and that's assuming he hasn't just inhaled a goddamn Vindaloo. Otherwise we're probably talking about £500. He makes £1 a second, 3 million a month. He essentially wins the goddamn lotto every week. PSG are literally doing everything for him bar wipe his arse. Although even then I wouldn't be surprised. And this is how he repays them, not even turning up. Like, where was he? I mean, he probably slept in after being out on the piss after the Copa America, but still, that shouldn't be an excuse. If you're being paid 70 quid a minute, the least you can do is set a goddamn alarm. Like, who hasn't turned up for work hungover? Christ above, I've done videos still stinking of Sambuca and looking like I've just contracted leprosy. Drink responsibly, kids. When he's been on the pitch for PSG, he's been good, tearing defences apart, even though they're made of cabbage. I mean, for Christ's sake, this is a league where Marouane Chamakh scored over 50 goals. This is a division where John Along Boomsong looked like a competent defender, as opposed to the walking fridge that we all know and love. Putting Neymar up against the defences of Guingamp and Saint Etienne, of course he's gonna rip them apart. Recently though, his career has just consisted of getting injured, slapping a fan, and openly enjoying a sibling relationship that would have made the Lannisters look like f***ing Mormons. I get that he no doubt wants to return to Barcelona, and he's probably spent the last 2 years slamming his head against the fridge and cursing the existence of his goddamn agent, but lad, we could have told you that 2 years ago. Barcelona is a step up from PSG. You don't do it the other way. I mean, Christ above, you just went to a club who hadn't reached the Champions League semi-finals since 1995. They play in a pudding league, are a renowned team of bottlers. For God's sake, you saw it yourself, like being part of a Barcelona side who stuck six past their defence. Why would you want to leave Barcelona for them in the first place? Oh, that's right, money, pure and simple. Don't give me this nonsense about it being easier to win a Ballon d'Or now that Messi's got out of the picture. You might want to be more concerned with winning Champions Leagues first, considering you're at a club who haven't so much as sniffed in the direction of one in about 30 odd years. Make no mistake about it, as talented as this man is, he is definitely going to be washed up by Shanghai Shenhua within the next 5 years, I can guarantee it. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh yeah, following the Women's World Cup, where England once again f***ed their lines in a semi-final, there's been calls for the women to be paid as much as men. Look, before I start this, I want to say that sexism is rampant in the sport. I mean, there's a reason why Richard Keys and Andy Gray have been relegated to a stuffy studio at the back of Qatar. Although, possibly not the wisest decision, considering I'd imagine that if you stared at someone's wife, or slagged a female lino, you'd probably have your hands cut off with a rusty blade. Although as far as Richard Keys' hairy hands are concerned, it would be like cutting through carpet. But yeah, lads, the sexism is everywhere. I remember when there was a female commentator during last year's World Cup, and people reacted as though their ears had been violated with a rusty spoon. Just a quick scan of Twitter will find you Barry from Blackpool demanding the women to be sent back in the kitchen to make him a sandwich. Barry from Blackpool is a goddamn moron. Don't be like Barry from Blackpool. The Women's World Cup has been a great advert for the women's game. It's had everything. Terrific goals, dreadful misses, England failure. Everything, alright? It's been great. But women demanding equal pay as the men in football in 2019 is incredibly short-sighted. I'd love to be given the same equal pay as Logan Paul, but the only problem is I'd be laughed out of the building within 2 seconds. Why? Because I have a goddamn fraction of his viewership. Don't have 3 clothes companies, and would never bring my camera down the local morgue. Now on one hand, you can understand why we want an equal pay. Alex Morgan is arguably the best female footballer on the planet, and currently makes about as much as an investment banker, taking home just over $5,000 a week. Paul Pogba probably tips her wage at the dry cleaners. Gary Taylor Fletcher probably spends that in one night at Burger King. Look, there is a gender pay gap in society, and that is unfair. But not here. I mean, yes, listen, Alexis Sanchez collects £500,000 a week, which that alone makes me want to get sick in my mouth. But Manchester United, as stupidly as it is, are able to actually fund this. Yes, they're borderline insane for doing so, and Ed Woodward should no longer be given access to the bank. But still, that club, can pay Sanchez £500,000 a week because there's a worldwide demand and interest in that club, which obviously equals income. This is very basic stuff. And give Alex Morgan $500,000 a week and you will watch your club cease to exist. There simply isn't the money for it, lads. Look, the women's game is improving year on year despite the existence of Phil Neville, but they are not at a level to demand the same sort of money as the men. There simply isn't that level of interest. We all know the money that exists in the men's game is about as repulsive as the personality of a Love Island contestant. Christ above, the mere thought that Titus Bramble ever made more than a postman makes me want to question the meaning of life. But while there's lads from Qatar emptying oil barrels into the sport, this is always going to happen. The only way Orlando Pride will be able to fund this sort of wage for one of their players is if the club chairman robbed a bank, although I'm guessing he'd make it about 5 yards out the door before he was distracted by a plate of custard creams. Like, diabetes is gonna catch him before the police. You might think this idea reads like how to solve the women's game in 20 minutes. No, I read it more like how to bankrupt the women's game in 60 seconds. Christ above, like, how would this work? Like, literally, football clubs would be diving into administration every 20 seconds. Where is the money going to come from? Look at Eni Aluko, for example. Great pundit, but a world-class player. With over 100 caps for her country, and having titles with Chelsea and Juventus. She currently makes in a year what her brother does in a week, despite the pinnacle of his career being 4 years at Hull City, and most recently spent time playing out the back arse of Beijing. Eni Aluko is literally playing at the same club as Cristiano Ronaldo, and yet whose car no doubt looks like a shoebox parked next to her brother's Lamborghini. It's not fair, lads, but this is the reality. There is far more interest in the men's game, hence there is more money. It is really that simple. It's a bit like David Attenborough demanding the same budget as the Big Bang Theory. Now don't get me wrong, anything written by Chuck Lorre is about as funny as Genital Warts, but it somehow attracts millions of viewers. I mean, viewers who are no doubt dropped in their head as a child, but still, viewers all the same. Just like Shanae Aluko, whose touch and overall play is probably on par with the amount of actual jokes in a goddamn episode, the Big Bang Theory is merely a valuable commodity purely for the industry it's in. I'm not saying the cast, writers, and goddamn director are more talented than David Attenborough, because I can assure you, they're definitely not. But the numbers are there, hence the money. It's really that simple. Yes, it would be great if the women and the men could be paid the same, but as it stands, the interest is not on a parallel. So how can you pay it? It's just, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is there a way around this? I'm liking the fact the women's game is growing because it's important to do that, and the Women's World Cup was a massive success, but even still, we all know the money just isn't there. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Is Neymar a gambin? Should the women be paid the same? Anyway, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.